Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to the Spiritual Roundtable right here at Star Nations Organization's main fan page on Facebook. Yeah, today is, what day is today? Wednesday, April 8th. Oh my gosh. It's been kind of a whirlwind of a morning. I want to get one more thing up here. There you go. There. Welcome, everybody, to the live chat. Thank you for being here with me this afternoon. I really do appreciate it. Or perhaps it's evening by you, wherever you're at around Grandmother Earth, right? So glad to be here with you. See, listen, I have today's all about the card draw that I do in the morning, right? So we get to have a spiritual conversation about it, and we have two cards. So I'm thinking that we're going to have pretty good spiritual conversations. So before we get rolling, though, I promised that I was going to let some people know that we're live streaming. So I would invite you to do the same thing. If you want to drop the link to your newsfeed or to a friend, maybe through Messenger, something like that. I'm going to send mine through Messenger. Just to remind a few people that I'm live streaming, and also for those people that I promised that I would let them know, because there were some people having problems navigating and getting to where we were live streaming. So we'll do that. And with so many people, home, it's kind of, I don't want to overdo, sending, but I know a lot of people are home. There we go. I think that's enough. Good. There we go. Thank you for doing that with me. Gonna turn down my sound. There we go. So today's Wednesday. We're in our third week of home isolation. I don't like using the word quarantine, because if you don't have the virus, you're not quarantined, but you are home. And somebody was using the phrase home isolation. I kind of like that. It kind of says it really what it is, right? There was also one that we were using. What was his artist? I was going to say in retreat, but that's not true either. So anyway, let's see who's with us before we get started with the cards. Well, hello, Rochelle. Good to have you here, lady. What? You can't hear me? Really? Oh, okay. She says, I can hear you now. Oh, good. And thank you so much. Yep. A whole bunch of people are now grounded because they're doing the morning meditation with me, which is really nice. And so, yeah, thank you, Rochelle, for that. And I've been using my iPad for those morning guided meditations to live stream. And so I come down here to my office to do the shows, right? And I'm looking in the wrong place for the camera. It's easy to get in a rut. That's for sure. Thank you. I already shut down. Thank you, Rochelle. And Cindy's here too. Hello. I can do it on my phone. Yay. Good. Excellent. She says, waiting for my dog to get groomed. You get to go to the dog groomers? Oh my gosh. I tried to get Georgie an appointment this morning, and our groomer is through our vet's office, and they're saying that the groomer is non-essential. And so they don't know when they're going to be taking grooming appointments. Jeez. Poor Georgie. He's the one that's been the most affected by COVID-19, because his daycare, puppy daycare closed, and now his groomer isn't taking appointments, and poor Georgie. I was feeling so sorry for him. I decided to use this cup today for my coffee. Doogie's Doggy Daycare and Spa. This is where Georgie usually goes. Thank you for being our awesome client, Doogie's staff. They gave this to us. And this is supposed to be Georgie. We got this as a gift last year, and I use it on occasion, but I thought, yeah, we're going to pay some homage to Doogie's Daycare today. All right. Oh, Cindy's saying, waiting. Oh, got that one. Good. Great. All right. So today, for the card draw that I did this morning, the intention, I shifted just a bit. It's still asking my spiritual team to show us what's important. The energy that's flowing today, or this week, I should say, is important for us to know about. But it has more to do with the Great Awakening, right? The energy that's flowing today that's important for us to tap into, to know about during this Great Awakening. And that's what this time is now being called by a lot of spiritual people, the Great Awakening. And, we have to agree, right? That a lot of people, it may be the first time that they've had an opportunity to really slow down, to really start asking themselves those questions, right? And to kind of look in that inward reflection, right? That's stuff that we've been doing here at Star Nations for a long time, encouraging everybody to do that at least 2 years. 2 years. I think it was 2018. From December of 2018 through December of 2019. Basically, we were talking about being grounded, being centered, being protected. Have you grounded today? That kind of thing. That's where Rochelle provides that information for us, right? So we've been actually doing our work, right? We've been encouraging you guys to do your emotional and mental trauma healing, right? And so now here we are, and we're looking at, and how long did we talk about 2020 being not just the new year, but a new decade? And what do you want to create for the new decade? And not taking baggage with you into the new decade, right? To sift through what it is that you want to leave behind. Yeah. Now, we knew there was a big shift going on. We did. We talked about it. The show hosts, the contributing writers, and we've all, shared information or insight to those things. But we honestly did not know it was going to be a pandemic. Didn't know that. So the cards today are really about what energy is flowing today, this week, that we can tap into to help us understand with more clarity about our portion of the Great Awakening. Okay, so I'm going to take a drink of coffee. Yum. Gotta love that first cup, right? All right. Cindy is saying, I know Sophie has been slipping around on the floor. I know the nails click, 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 right? Oh my gosh. And she's also saying, I want people to know about the therapy I have been doing. Okay. Let us know. We'll share it. Annie's here. She goes, 2020, yes, and get rid of all the negativity, rebalance our planet, ourselves, our families, and our communities. Yes, to all of that. And that's why I love it that Annie is part of Star Nation's community, because that's what we're all about, right? That's right. Supporting you guys. Cindy's saying sound therapy has helped to release old emotions. Oh, good. Good, good, good. So tell us a little bit about the sound therapy. Where are you taking it? Right? Is it local? Are you taking it via the internet? Tell us a little bit about the delivery system, because there might be some people who are watching that will like to take that as a suggestion, right? And kind of look into it for themselves. So yeah, because we don't want to take any of that baggage into the new world with us, do we? All right. So for those that might just be joining us for the first time, we continue to use this particular deck. It's the Sacred Spirit Reading Cards by Anna Stark. She is from Australia. And Lewis Dyer is the illustrator. And he is also from Australia. Yeah. I got these from Amazon.com. I was scrolling through, and it was one of those things that just kind of jumped out at me, right? All right. Oh, okay. Cindy's saying she's taking the sound therapy in person. And Cindy is from Wisconsin. northwestern? No. I'm trying to get my directions here. She's southwest of me. Yeah, southwest of me. So it would be south of La Crosse, right? South of La Crosse. Hey, Stephanie's here. Hello, lady. Good to have you here. Annie's saying sound therapy, vibrations, frequency. Yes, very important. Because there's so many modalities to use, right? So many paths up the mountain, as they say. And so, to discern for yourself, what would be helpful to you, right? And for some people, sound therapy, and there's lots, even within sound therapy, there's a whole bunch of sounds that could be used for it. So, whether it's bells, singing bowls, most of them are singing bowls, sound baths, drumming, lots of different ways. Depends on what really floats your boat. Cindy says, I will post a site. Thank you. That would be so helpful. Yeah. Thank you, Cindy. Okay. So let me show you the first card. I think the conversation is going to be very interesting around these cards today. And I'll tell you why. Because this very first card we've gotten before, like in the last 3 weeks, it's the same card. Sometimes it's in the first position, sometimes it's in the second position. So here we go. Awakened spirit. It's about helping others and the desire to change. And here we are. The intention was understanding, knowing about the energy that's flowing this week that can help us, assist us in understanding with clarity our part in the Great Awakening. Right? Awakened spirit. And if I can get the camera to focus, in the background, you know what I noticed in the background? So many eyes. Eyes in the background. And is this person calling in or sending out, right? Because look where the beam of light is coming from, between the third eye, right? And the chin. Light body. In the background, in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see another being standing back there. It's almost like that's the person's light body. Perhaps it's the angel in the background. Right? Awakened spirit, desire to change. And how much change has a whole lot of people done in the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks? And if we go worldwide, all over Grandmother Earth, right? How many people have had to change their routine, which ultimately changes them, right? How many? Thousands, millions. I'm not really fond of the word unprecedented times. I think there's aspects of this time frame this event is unprecedented, and others that it's not. But what is unprecedented, I think, is the fact that we have millions of people having the opportunity to be at home, do some self-reflection. As one of my sisters was calling it, unpacking some of those things that we've packed away in our emotional baggage or our mental trauma baggage, right? And being able to sift through that. Some people are literally going through their belongings and sifting through their belongings to see what they're going to keep and what they're going to give away. That's all very symbolic, isn't it? Yeah. Awakened spirit. Even to the point where many of us are also sifting through our belief systems. Our belief, what do we believe? Why do we believe it? Does it still support me? Did it ever support me? Right? Doogie's doggy daycare. I'm doing this for Georgie. He really misses his four-legged friends, that's for sure. Yep. Oh my goodness, one of my sisters is in the house. Mimi Kate Ray's here. Hello there, Mimi. It's good to have you here. Annie says, nailed it. Yes, yes, absolutely. And she's also saying, receiving the universe's energy, replenishing ourselves and earth, then sharing the energy with others. That's what you got from the card. Right? Yeah. And I think it's very interesting that in the background, to me, it looks like eyes. What do we see? How do we see it? You know, there's so much information coming at us all the time, right? All the time. Both in the visual that we pick up with our two eyes, our physical eyes, and there's so much in the unseen as well, the light language that comes in. So we're taking in the physical world and the non-physical world, right? And so here is when we're an awakened spirit and our desire to change, we really have to do a lot of discerning for ourselves. Not so much what our parents might agree with or disagree with. Now I'm warm. Hot flash. But what it is that we believe in. And it's not so much even what the bigger society believes in, but what do we believe in, right? One of the things, I had a chat with one of my sisters this morning, and we're talking about how the very first week here in the States anyway, with the COVID-19, that it was a shock, right? What do you mean we're going to have to be home? What do you mean I'm non-essential? What do you mean I'm essential, right? And going through the shock of it and literally having our worlds turned upside down or inside out, right? And so it took some earth time passage to get our bearings, right? Especially if you have children, and now you're also a teacher, you're homeschooling and getting used to maybe something you haven't done before, which is online learning and using Zoom or some other application, right? Amongst all the other things that are going on, that your daily routine is no longer daily. Something that you used to do, you can't do anymore. And so, finding our footing that first week was difficult, right? And then the second week rolled around and you're kind of getting the hang of it. There's still some things that were throwing you off a bit, right? But you were hanging in there. This, we can do this. We can do this, right? Okay. And then here we are in the third week, and you may have found your new daily routine. It might not be smooth. It might be kind of rough around the edges, or very rough around the edges. But you kind of figured some things out, right? Now, here's the thing, is that as things are shifting and changing, and the energy is providing that shift and change for us two-leggeds, right? We feel it in our belief systems from, if you will, from a very large down to the very specific. It's like this big funnel and it comes directly down to us, right? And so many people are having some issues with finding their path, their way. They're making their way through new governmental changes and those kinds of things, new documents that they have to fill out if they're going to be tapping into any of the relief money that's supposed to be coming our way, right? So we have these big entities called the federal government that steps down to the state government, that steps down to local government, right? And then steps down to township government, and then steps down, and then finally it lands with us individually. And one of the things I think that we're all dealing with is, what we thought was a truth, what we thought was going to be there, either is not for you, or you realize that it was kind of an illusion, right? And so we're even dealing with that kind of information and trying to find our way through it, right? And so this particular card, when I was spending time with it this morning, and this isn't the first time we've had this card, but it's the first time I really paid attention to the eyes in the background. That are discerning for ourselves what is a truth, what's meant for us, what's not meant for us individually, right? And if we can discern for ourselves, for our highest good, it starts to affect our community. And this is what I got this morning out of my chat with my sister, is that yes, we're doing that step down from the big government thing all the way down to us individually. But as we do our discerning, and we're finding our authentic beliefs, we're finding our heart, right? That how we shift and change in our individual life as we mind our own vibration, right? That we start shifting and changing the world around us. And we start affecting others because we're all interconnected, right? So as you shift and you change your environment around you, you start changing not just yourself, but you also shift your family around you, your home, right? And then your home, we start to affect our neighborhood, our neighbors, and so on. And so really our world becomes our world from the inside out rather than from the outside in, right? Well, now we've heard that before from lots of different spiritual teachers. We've heard that before. But if we can kind of put it in the framework of the discerning that we individually are learning or remembering how to do. And for many of us, maybe it's the first time. Maybe it's the first time that we've actually paused long enough to say, why? Or is that really a truth for me? Or is that a lie? Right? So that that awakened spirit is a part of that great awakening. Right? And even if we've been awakened, even if we've been awake for a long time and we've gone around the block a few times with it, right? Doesn't mean that we're not feeling the growth and the expansion too, right? And also taking that time to do that self-reflecting, that those tweaks, right? Or maybe even, the bigger ones, right? That we maybe put off doing. And now is the time. Now is the time to do those bigger changes that you've been kind of in a holding pattern about, or at least making some self-reflection about them, right? And maybe planting the seeds for the decision on how to proceed. Maybe. All right. Hey, Deborah's here too. Hello, Deborah. Good to have you here. Yeah, and Annie is saying eyes of the peacock feathers. Yes. Now here's this, because that thought went through my mind too. Now the peacock with Kuai Yin is always paired up with Kuai Yin. Okay. And Kuai Yin is a bodhisattva, right? And she could have, when her physical body ended, she died, and she could have gone on right to the next experience for her soul. She chose to stay to help humankind. And it said that she hears the cries of the entire world, of all of us, right? So lots of compassion there. And the peacock is the consort, is the one who stays with her and has the eyes, right? So I thought about that too. So there's a deep well of compassion perhaps behind those eyes. Good one, Annie. Good one. I like it. Hey, Barbie's here too. Hello, Barbie. I hope you're feeling better today, Barbie. Lynn says hello to all. And what's this, Annie? She put in there, what's myspiritualanimal.com? Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's good. Thanks for sharing that for the peacock, for the peacock information. All right, so let's find out what the author has to say about this particular card. This is the first card, Awakened Spirit. This is the third week in a row that we've gotten this card, maybe even the fourth week. Do you remember when we kept getting the Ascended Master? Yeah, that was just before COVID-19 hit. That was when it was. We were just finding out about it coming out of China. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Awakened Spirit, helping others, desire to change. All right, so the Awakened Spirit. Once you have traveled down the rabbit hole, you can never go back to what you knew before. You become forever changed by your new experience. New information and experiences will change you at your very core. You become enlightened with sacred connection, resulting in physical, spiritual, and emotional changes. You may be feeling lost and confused about your life, relationships, family, or social connections, including your employment. This is a time when making meaningful experiences is a priority, as you can no longer fathom wasting time on greedy, materialistic, or ego-based principles. The reason of why comes to the forefront of almost every experience as you search for meaning and validity for your soul's experience here on earth. At this moment, understanding who you are, the real you, beyond what you have been conditioned to believe by societal norms, family, schools, or institutions, becomes a dominant feature in your life. Okay, so we've been getting that same message for 3 or 4 weeks now, right? Would you say that Spirit is really, really trying to get our attention with it? That what we're going through, I know, is a challenge and difficult for many people, but it really is a gift. A gift that, generally speaking, you don't get a chance to slow down and spend time at home. Usually what happens is that if you take vacation time, you go someplace else, right? You pack up and you go someplace for 5 days over the weekend, 7 days, right? Very seldom do you find yourself in your home with yourself for weeks on end. Very interesting, isn't it? All right, here's the rest of it. So right now, your spirit seeks freedom. Confined by restrictive interactions and outdated ideals, it's important to understand the connection between your physical body and spiritual self. This deep connection is the soul's expanding awareness into seeing a broader and bigger picture in life. Health challenges can occur now as you go through this phase of spiritual improvement. Growing impatience with materialistic people, social media, and news programs continually highlight the world's imbalance of peace and harmony. Humanitarian efforts are supported now donating time, effort, and energy into community programs or groups and implementing healthy and greener alternatives into your life will bring you new opportunities, creating a supportive, healthier lifestyle. The affirmation: I am free to follow the call of my heart with purpose, with love and clarity. Oh gosh, I like that one. I'm going to say it again. I am free to follow the call of my heart with purpose, with love and clarity. Right? Following the call of your heart with purpose, with love, and with clarity. So when we're asking our spiritual teams for assistance, right? Help me. You might want to keep that affirmation in mind. Help me with clarity. That's all about discerning. It's all about discerning. Help me to be able to love my life, right? No matter what it looks like or what it is. We're a lot more resilient than we give ourselves credit for, right? And we're learning about that resiliency, remembering what it's like. In fact, we were having a conversation. Oh, I don't remember who it was. I think it was with my house cleaner. No, I think it was with Sharon, one of my other sisters. Anyway, we were talking about our childhood, right? That when we were kids and we'd come in, we'd get called for supper, right? Supper's ready. When we came in the house, what was the first thing our parents said to us? Usually the mom, go wash your hands. We were always washing our hands before we touched any kind of food, anything. Go wash your hands. And when we came home from school, what did we do? What were we told to do? Go change your clothes. Put your play clothes on. So some of it is a remembering, about the basic stuff. And others is that clarity and that discerning and getting prepared perhaps to do a major shift. It's coming. We're not done. We're not done in this home isolation, right? So taking advantage of the time, of the space. So I know that there's a lot of people out there, parents especially, that you're thinking, time? I'm not getting any time off. I've got kids at home. I have to do this and I have to do that. And we can't go and purchase meals out as much, right? And so I'm also cooking more meals and yeah. But it's also important to carve out some time for you. It's in that balance, right? So maybe that's another thing that we're remembering how to do is how to balance our life in a different way. Barbie saying, yes, I am. Just got home from work. Take care of a cemetery. My friends say that's my peaceful place. Well, it could be, doing the grounds, keeping the grounds, right? It's kind of cleaning up. Mary says, love this card. I'm going to play back and write it down on a sticky note. Yeah. And if you are a techie at heart, you can do a screen, click, click on the screen, and then you can save it as a picture. Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the second card. Second card. It's very interesting. We've never had the second card before. Okay. So get prepared. Here we go. Card number 19 in the deck, Guardian. Get it to focus. Come on. There we go. Guard your energy. It's a wolf. Look at all that light language on his body. There's a wolf in the distance. Talk about power animal or totem. Right? Guard your energy. And notice that all 4 of his feet or her feet is on the ground. on Grandmother Earth, grounded. Can see her light body. It's about communication too, I think. That's a feeling I had. Because even the wolf in the background's mouth is open, right? And did you know that wolves can communicate over great distances? Very community minded. They travel in packs. And here's a myth. We'll do a little myth busting. Is there's no such thing as a lone wolf. Did you know that? No such thing. I think it's a canine kind of day. And Georgie's upstairs sleeping. Yeah, wolves, there's no such thing as a lone wolf. A juvenile male wolf will separate from his pack only when the pack is getting really large. And they do separate out. And the junior wolf will go and look for his own mate, right? And start their own pack. And so when they would see, one male wolf, and they call him a lone wolf, he's on a mission. He's looking for his mate, and wolves mate for life. The alpha male and the alpha female mate for life. They're community minded. They take care of their young and their elderly. The leaders of the pack are not in the front leading. The pups and the elderly are before the leaders, and what they do is they watch to protect them, and they walk behind them so that they can see what's going on and where they're needed. So they're very family oriented, very community oriented. And as a power animal, because they happen to be mine, they certainly can teach us a whole lot about that. And also about boundaries. How to set a good, healthy boundary. Not as much as skunks or porcupine, but they certainly can help you teach you how to set a boundary out of love rather than fear. Wolf. Yeah. Guardian. Number 19 in the deck, which is a 10, right? And then you go down to the 1 numerology. And 1 is always about the creator. It's about energy. I just like the imagery of the light language on his body. How many times have you ever seen a wolf tattooed? Now, the light language, is it coming from him or to him or her? Right? And for me, it's also about communication. Like I said, wolves can communicate over large distances. They call to one another, and the information that they're sharing gets passed on. And that's how they hunt so well together too, is good communication. Yeah. Okay. So here is what the author has to say. Now, when I do this card draw, the second and third card always support the message of the first card. So it helps us to really bring in the message of the first card. Okay. So here we go. It says, guardians of the spiritual realm are perceived differently across all cultures and religions. Totem spirits, angels, and other shamanic spirit helpers are assigned to everyone at birth and can be discovered through vision quests, meditations, and deep forms of prayer. Now, you have to remember that the author is from Australia. So her perspective of totems and power animals may be just a little bit different, coming through her filter as an Australian. Okay. Every individual has a guardian or guiding spirit that watches over them during their lifetime. Different stages of life can bring change to those helpers, depending on what lessons or guidance are needed to complete levels of soul growth for the soul's ascension. Right? So, right here, she's talking about power animals. The birth totems or the totems are the ones that stay with us from the time we're born until the time we take our last breath. Power animals, when we're finished with a life lesson that they're helping us with, they leave and we get a new power animal. Okay? All right. Guardian spirits are often perceived in animal forms due to the recognition of their personal characteristics and mannerisms. So it's like the archetype of the animal. Okay? The wolf depicts changes in personal boundaries and being able to trust others with your emotional vulnerability. Right now, you must guard your energy fiercely. Be mindful of how you feel energetically around others. Only you decide on a conscious or subconscious level if you wish to interact with these energies. Okay? So here, everyone has the ability to read energy. Everybody. It just depends on where you place your attention, right? Everyone has clairs. Everybody is clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairs, right? So as we're taking in information, communication, we're communicating on many different levels, not just the physical level. So as we're taking in the communication, the information from an emotional level, this is what we talked about last night on my show, is that as an empath, and everybody can feel emotions. Everybody. An empath, we came in with the gift in a heightened way. Okay. So when we're around certain kinds of energy, emotions, sometimes what we do, especially negative ones like anger, right, or fear, panic, right, those kinds of energies, we're trying to get away from it as fast as we can because it doesn't feel good, right? And a lot of times we couldn't tell if it was our own or not. So we're back to discerning. And those good energies, the ones about love and joy and happiness and excitement, and, we gravitate to those, right? We want those to come in. So, what Wolf is about today, I think, is about our communication and how we receive that information and what we give out. Because communication is a two-way street, right? You're receiving and you're giving at the same time. So, and setting those good boundaries. And I am 100% in agreement with it's individually, we get to choose which energies we allow in and which we don't, which means good boundaries. And I tell you what, in home isolation, the way we are, some families, it's the first time in a really long time that they've had to spend any kind of time together, and a lot of it, right? So remembering certain things and learning certain things about communication and boundaries. Yeah. This is a big one because remember, this card is supporting the first one about awakened spirit. And in the awakened spirit, we're sifting through our beliefs and we're expanding, we're growing, right? We're releasing anything that is a block or a deterrent to that growth, right? We're remembering who we really are. And so the second card is talking about guarding your own energy, right? You don't want to be an amoeba. You want to have some boundaries up. Good, healthy ones, not out of fear, but out of love. Right? It's a good card. It's good coffee too. All right. So here, let's finish this one up. It says, currently, lunar cycles are influential. Be cautious of the full moon influence over people and places. Always put your personal safety first, avoiding taking unnecessary risks. Useful, careful practice in your holistic counseling, intuitive, and healing practices as you are absorbing unwanted energy from others and need to clear and ground yourself after each session or experience to minimize mental and physical fatigue. Okay. So here she's literally talking directly to energy workers and light workers who are assisting others, right? And even those that are maybe chiropractors or anybody, right, that is helping somebody and you're in each other's energy field, is to remember to take care of yourself, right? Yeah. It's a big card. It's a big energy. And I think it's a reminder in how we communicate. Not just verbally communicate, but how we carry our energy, right? As an empath, we come across a lot of people who are either unconscious or subconscious about how they propel their energy. That's a good word, isn't it? Propel. Yeah. And what we do to assist them. And sometimes our assistance is very conscious, especially when you know how to use your gift. When you're not quite sure how to use your gift or you don't know how to use your gift and you're trying to help somebody, you think you're taking their fear or their panic or whatever it is, their sadness from them, and you end up holding it onto it for them, right? They start to feel great. And here you are sitting with their emotion in your energy field, and sometimes even in your body, right? And of course, you made them help them to feel better, but they didn't learn anything from it. They didn't learn how to discern for themselves. They didn't learn how to get to the root of whatever it is to heal it and to release it. And sometimes, as empaths, sometimes when we step in to help like that, I know some people who didn't even ask permission if they wanted an assistance or not. They stepped in and just did it, and that is so unethical. You just interfered with their soul growth, right? So there's a whole bunch of communication involved in this. Guarding your own energy is a good thing. And doing it from a place of love and setting up your boundaries. And maybe that's even something that we have to work on a little bit, is while you have some time at home, is to really take a look at what your boundaries are. And maybe you have to reset your boundaries and reset them from a place of empowerment rather than a place of victimhood, right? Yeah. It's all going to help you in your great awakening. All right. Mary's going, yes. Yes. Yes, I agree, Rochelle. A lot of insight. I really do. I agree. And Deborah is saying the two cards are so powerful together. I know. We're going to look at them together right now. And so one of the things that we know for sure from this show, we're almost on 2 years of doing this together. Can you believe that? 2 years. All right. So one thing that we've learned is that when we take a look at the two cards or the cards together, is that it's a very powerful moment. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're grounded. If you did the meditation with me this morning, you're good to go. If you haven't done your grounding yet today, if you want to just pause for a moment and do your grounding. Okay. I'll wait for you. I'll give you a moment to do that. And so that when you take in the information, you're going to be calling your team in so that they can help you to take in the optimal amount of the information for you in an optimal way. Okay. So, so that you're seeing both the seen and unseen. You're taking it. Yeah. So it's good stuff. It's good stuff. We're going to show those cards in just a second. In the meantime, while you guys are grounding, okay, I want to show you one thing here. Actually, two things, but this is the first one. I'm doing a class. I was asked to do a class about empaths. And so in order to get this in a time frame that I think is going to be really helpful, I know this is a short notice, okay? But we're on Sunday, April 26th, at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 Central. We're going to be doing a class called Thriving as an Empath During the Great Awakening. And basically, some of the basics: what is an empath? How can you tell you're an empath? How do you use your gift as an empath? How to take care of yourself as an empath. And especially when we're doing global kind of big medicine work, how do you take care of yourself? Okay. So, and it's going to be a very reasonable registration fee. That's $33. And Julie Shumway Hill, my manager for the Academy, is helping me put this together. Fingers crossed, we're going to have the Eventbrite ticket available by Friday, and it's going to be up on the website by Friday. Fingers crossed. And so hopefully you'll be able to join us for that. Okay. Yeah. All right. So back to the cards. Hopefully everybody is grounded. All right. Here we go. We're going to take a look at both of them together. Yeah, here we go. Oops. All right. Deep breath in. On the exhale, calling to your spiritual team, asking your full team to come to you. Okay. All right. And asking them to help you, to assist you, and taking in the information that's meant for you for your highest good in an optimal way, in the optimal amount coming from the cards. All right. So here we are. Awakened spirit, the desire to change. And the guardian is protecting your energy. And as I was trying to figure out, well, how to place the cards, this is the way that Spirit asked me to do this. So we have both of them facing the same direction. Right? Can you see the communication? Can you sense that? And I have to agree, Rochelle, and also Deborah, putting the two cards together like this side by side. It's a very powerful message that we are awakened spirits. It's not a future tense. It's not a past tense. It's a present tense. We are awakened spirits. As Constance Watershire would say, the I am presence. I am an awakened spirit. Right? I am an awakened spirit. Practice that one. Say it out loud. Sing it. I am an awakened spirit. And I know how to set my boundaries with love. I can guard my own energy, and I'm very aware of how I communicate my energy as an awakened spirit. Don't you just love it? Holy smokes. So this is what we can tap into this week, right? To help us to really bring in an understanding of this great awakening that the whole world is experiencing, right? I love it. It's good stuff. Love having these kind of spiritual conversations with you. All right. I have a couple of things I want to get in before the end of the hour here. Is the information that was shared today, coming from the cards, coming from spirit, is that if it resonated with you, if it felt good to you, if it felt like, yeah, that's it, you know, my suggestion is to embrace it. Embrace it, and then watch, sense, feel, see how the energy this week is unfolding around you and where this information could be helpful to you. Okay? All right. And if it didn't resonate with you, don't worry about it. Just let it go. Sometimes we're present to bear witness, right? Sometimes we're there to pick up some information and so that we can pass it on to a friend or family member. And maybe that's you. And if that's you, then all you have to do is send the link to the recorded show to them and let them discern for themselves if it's something that resonates with them. Okay. And then you're done. Then you can go about your business. Right. Okay. So, yeah, this was good. Good, good, good. I look forward to spending this time with you guys and having this kind of conversation. It lifts me. I have fun. All right. So I need to remind you about one more thing, and that's this. Star Nations Academy. We're continuing with the 4 teachers with a launch into the deep waters of manifesting. We've had 2 classes already, one with Maureen Mann, which was about how the angels assists us with manifesting. And we also had a class with Ed Langen, and that was all about true creation and the law of attraction. And coming up on April 23rd, is the next class, which is the multidimensional manifesting in your inner child with Polly Jo LeBay. This is going to be brand new information. Some information that Star Nations hasn't heard yet coming from Polly Jo. Yeah, so it's a good one. You guys still have time to register for the class. You get 4 teachers, 4 teachers. And it really is about building a good foundation and understanding of manifesting. Okay, so Polly Jo's up next. She's in the batter box right now. And yeah, so hopefully you guys can join us. To find out more about the classes, you can go to starnations.org. That's the main fan page. And then go to the Academy button, click on that, and it will take you to, and you can scroll through and look at all the other classes that we have coming up. But yeah, this is the next one coming up, April 23rd. Yeah. And also, one of the things that's happening with these 4 classes is that each one of us has prepared we're calling it a bonus. It's more like a gift. Guided meditations, extra ones that you guys haven't heard yet. And so Maureen's was about angels, of course. And Ed did a special one, a special tapping video for you. And but Polly Jo and I are coming up. So yeah, I'm going to keep that one a little bit. Okay. So hopefully you guys will be able to join us about manifesting. Did you know that our inner child carries the magic wand for our manifesting? Did you know that? Probably Joe's going to teach us all about that one. All right. Let's see. I'm going to get caught up with you guys in the chat before we say good afternoon. Okay. Oh, here we are. Deborah's saying, I will also rewatch about the first card as I came on late. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions about it. Okay. Mary says, thank you, Neshi. So much. Look forward to this class, bringing my daughter. Oh, good. Yay. Excellent. She's talking about the empath class. Lisa says, feels like the wolf is calling out and spirit is delivering the message. Oh my gosh. That's so true. Good one, Lisa. Good one. Thank you for sharing that. Good cards. You're welcome. Kimberly. Hello, Kimberly. She says, amazing cards, very powerful. Needed to hear this with boundaries. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's one of those things that we need to sift through. We may have old boundaries there that we don't need anymore. And maybe we need new boundaries set up that we haven't done yet. Or maybe boundaries that we just need to tweak and bring them up to date, right? You're welcome, Deborah. Annie says, yes, totally needed this at this exact moment. Thank you so much. You're so welcome, Annie. Paul and I are going to be up to see you hopefully sometime this summer. Soon, I hope. Mary says, thank you, Neshi, for your loving, guiding heart. Aw, you're so sweet, Mary. You're welcome. You're very welcome. Lynn is saying, the time I've had at home has been a lot of self-reflecting and protecting of my energy since I gave it all out in the workplace. It's time, right? I'm so glad you found it, really, and realized what it was. A lot of people had struggled with that. So it's a good one. Thank you, Lynn, for sharing. You're welcome. Oh, I love those emojicons. Looks good. Oh, that was me. And Lynn says, thanks, and she appreciate your show so much. Oh, you're so welcome, Lynn. I'm so glad you guys are with me today. And look, one of my sisters. Thank you, Neshi. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Yeah. Annie's giving me the smile. Annie has a campground here in Wisconsin, which Paul and I haven't been to yet. So we're going to make the trip up there. I'm not sure exactly when, but we're going to do it. Okay. So, let's see. Coming up tonight is Polly Joe LeBay's Wednesday show, evening show. That is Soul Connections at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's an evening of healing and divine messages. So, the first half of the show, if you have some healing work for yourself that you'd like to do, Polly Joe, she and her team hold that sacred container for us to be able to do that kind of work for ourselves and our spiritual teams. And the second half is all about card draws, card readings. So if you enjoy getting a card reading, you might want to stop by and get a card from Polly Joe in the second half of her show. I think the most cards she's ever read in a Wednesday evening was 55. 55 cards. That's a lot. So come and join us. And on Thursday night is her weekly evening show called Chakra Sessions. And she's sharing all about the goddess. Good stuff coming up. And her show on Thursday night is 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. And we'll see you back here next Wednesday for the Spiritual Roundtable, the weekly community card draw. And we'll have another spiritual conversation. Bama Mina. That's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys. Okay, love you guys.